You know how sometimes a single tech breakthrough happens and it feels like a pebble dropped in a pond? The ripples just spread out, right? They end up touching everything from the job market to geopolitics and yeah, even the next laptop you might buy. Well, today, that's exactly what we're going to do. We're connecting the dots on a bunch of headlines that seem totally unrelated, but they all tell one big cohesive story, the story of AI's massive ripple effect.
Okay, so here's how we're going to break this all down. First, we're going to look at the pebble itself, this huge leap forward in what AI can actually do. Then, we'll trace that first ripple, the immediate fallout on jobs and security. After that, we'll see how the hardware market is scrambling to adapt, with Apple making a really surprising move. And finally, we'll zoom out to the biggest ripple of all, how entire nations are now trying to control this new global force.
So where does this whole story kick off? It starts with the catalyst. You know, the initial splash. And that is OpenAI's latest, most powerful AI model, which is pretty much changing the game of what AI is capable of.
Now pay close attention to that phrase right there, autonomous agents. That's the key. This isn't just about making a smarter chatbot. What OpenAI is signaling here is a massive shift towards AI that can actually act on its own, for you. We're talking about it taking control of your computer to get complicated stuff done across a bunch of different apps. And believe me, this isn't just some minor update. This new model is built to understand whole documents, spreadsheets. It can see and figure out what's in a screenshot. And it can carry out these long, complex jobs without you having to constantly tell it what to do. And that agentic web search thing, it basically means the AI can go out and hunt across the web, find obscure info from multiple places, and pull it all together into one clear answer. It's a true workhorse, really designed for real-world business. And if you really want to wrap your head around the power here, just look at this number. 1 million. A million tokens. Think of a token as like a piece of a word. This massive number is the AI's context window, which is basically its short-term memory. It lets the AI hold an entire software codebase or a huge pile of documents in its head all at once. The scale is it's absolutely massive.
Okay, so a leap this big doesn't just happen in a vacuum, right? The very first ripple is already hitting the shore, and it's creating some immediate, really complex consequences for jobs, for our security, and even for what our governments are doing.
So this is where it gets really interesting. This research comes from Anthropic, another one of the big AI players, and they draw this sharp line between what's possible and what's actually happening. So while AI could, in theory, automate almost every single task in fields like computer science, in practice, people are only using it for about a third of those tasks. There's this huge gap between the potential and the reality right now. And this shows you exactly where that reality is hitting hardest. It's the programmers, customer support staff, and analysts who are already weaving these AI tools into their day-to-day work more than anyone else. These are the jobs right on the front lines, the ones feeling that observed exposure the most.
But the fallout isn't just about jobs. It's also about security, and this is kind of scary. According to the cybersecurity company Cloudflare, AI is making criminals way better at what they do. Get this, AI-generated phishing scams, the ones designed to trick you and steal your info, are a staggering 4.5 times more successful than the ones written by actual humans. And this leads us to a really fascinating and pretty messy ethical dilemma. The Pentagon recently blacklisted the AI developer Anthropic, saying they can't get government contracts because of supply chain risks. Okay, fine. But at the exact same time, the Pentagon is actively using that very same company's AI model in its military Maven system. It just shows you how conflicted and complicated it is for these huge institutions to deal with this crazy new tech. All right, let's follow the next ripple out. As all this AI software starts reshaping our digital world, the hardware has to keep up, right? And a giant like Apple, well, they're being forced to react, to adapt, and to make some really strategic bets on what the future looks like. And boom, enter the MacBook Neo. Apple's choice of name here is so intentional. They didn't just call it the MacBook Lite or whatever. By adding Neo, they're sending a signal. This isn't just a cheaper laptop. They want you to see it as a new kind of product for a new AI-driven era, something designed to be accessible, especially for a younger crowd. And that Neo name is backed up by some genuinely new tech for Apple. It's got a totally new trackpad design. It is the first Mac ever to run on an A-series chip,
the kind from the iPhone, but it's a special version with a 5-core GPU. And it's the first device with that A-series chip to have more than one data port. These aren't small tweaks. These are pretty fundamental changes.
So who is Apple really gunning for with this thing? This slide tells you everything you need to know. For about the same screen size, a MacBook Neo is going to set you back $599. A comparable iPad Air, once you add the Magic Keyboard, costs over $1,200. It's literally double the price. So Apple isn't just competing with other laptops, they are making a direct attack on the idea of using an iPad as your main computer.
But look, you can't get to a $599 price tag without making some compromises. You know there's a catch, right?
Enjoying the content? Subscribe to AICC for the latest in high-tech innovations.